Let's take a look at the chart action for XRP. I got a request on this from Discord. I'll show you a bearish scenario and a bullish scenario and we can check it out. Let's start over from scratch though. So what I'm looking at is resistance, resistance, and resistance, and then we have support, support, support. We're on the daily time frame right now. Let's set up some trend lines. We have the top going like this, and then we also have a bottom right here, something like that. So what I'm looking at is this channel pattern. It looks like we're bouncing in between those two trend lines, and it looks like we're testing the bottom right now. So if we break to the downside, that'll be a bearish scenario, I guess. And if we can break, well, also we have resistance right here, resistance and resistance. Let's set up another trend line. This is the other trend line that I had set up. So we're basically watching this downtrend right here, and then this support line right here, right in the meantime. Let's see if we break to the upside or to the downside. If we break to the upside, what I'll be looking at are the previous resistances. So we have like kind of like a little resistance zone right here. What I'll be wanting to break out of is around 109. If we could break 109, then the next zone that I'd be looking at is somewhere up here, maybe at around 1.21. And then if we could break that one, maybe look at 128. And if we could come up here and break this one, then I'd be looking at this trend line up here. And if we could zoom out a little bit, we have previous resistance up here, maybe this top up here at around 1.39 we can possibly look at, or maybe somewhere down here. I don't know, this is at 132. This kind of lines up over here. These are just some of the targets that I would be looking at once we break this trend line going to the upside, if it breaks to the upside. If this downtrend continues to move down and we break to the downside, what I'll be looking at is the previous support levels. So that would be maybe somewhere right here, maybe somewhere right here at around 99 cents, or maybe somewhere around here at around 87 cents. Or the other thing we could do is drag from the top to the bottom of this channel pattern. Since we're breaking that channel pattern going to the downside, we can use this as a target and maybe look at maybe 0.76 even. Depends if how much volume we get. If we break to the downside of this, if there's not a lot of red volume, then it might just be going to these smaller targets. But if it gets like a big red volume candle, then we might be looking at something more like this, 76 cents, or maybe down here. But I would probably target this one first. There's also probably a trend line that you can probably do with this support and this support. Let's do this support line going up like this. See, and this kind of lines up with this target right here. Not perfectly, but kind of. So that is what I would be looking at. If you get some big volume, maybe somewhere right here. If it's smaller red volume, then maybe these levels right here, the bottom of this little area. And then if we can break this trend line right here, let's zoom in a little bit. If we could break this downtrend right here going to the upside, then I'll be looking at these previous resistances right there. And if we could break this top out of this top channel, then we'd be basically getting this target right here and putting it on the top side. So let's go ahead and do something like that just for fun. We'll drag from the top to the bottom of this target. If we can break out of this channel pattern, something like this with some volume, if we come up here and start breaking out of it, then maybe we'd be looking at a target of around 1.60. I don't know, it just depends on where we break out of on this. What the other thing I'd be looking at is this previous resistance right here. If we could break through that, then I'd be targeting this area up here, or these previous resistance areas. So the top up here, maybe 183. This area over here is at around 1.65. The main thing I'm watching right now is this downtrend and this support line right here. Let's see if we break to the upside or to the downside.